Hi everyone, my name is Hazel and this is my story. Please like and subscribe. I was born to two genius parents who were masters of their craft. My mom was a big corporate lawyer and her work mostly kept her away from home. But I didn't miss her at all because I had the best dad in the world to keep me company. He was a genius scientist and I was like a mini version of him. I loved science too and hung around his workspace all the time.
Look, Dad, I found these.
Oh no, honey. Get away from that. I was really notorious and would cause trouble around the lab all the time. Where did all the lab rats go? Hazel! As a result, Dad and his best friends, Mr. Jones, would shut me out of the lab during all their cool experiments, and I'd just hate it. I was 6 and a science genius in my class. I wasn't going to give up so easily. So I went to the kitchen to eat something and fuel my brain. But there I saw a really chubby kid munching on some donuts Dad had bought for me.
Hey, you thief! How did you get in here?
The kid immediately dropped everything and crawled under the dining table.
Tell me who you are right now, or I'm gonna call the cops.
He came out shivering and told me his name was Andy. And surprisingly, he was Mr. Jones's son. As we began talking, he told me that he mostly stayed at home with his nanny and didn't really have any friends.
And why's that?
They all pick on me for looking different, and 'cause I don't have a mom. Suddenly, his eyes went teary, and it kind of melted my heart.
Don't worry, I'll be your friend, and if anyone tries to bully you, I'll kick their butts.
Before I could finish, he hugged me tight, and in no time, we became the bestest of friends. We even built our own lab and spent all our time playing together. One evening, I was baking a cake to surprise Andy on his 9th birthday when I heard Dad and Mr. Jones arguing. Just then, Mom grabbed Mr. Jones's hand and stormed out of there. What was going on? I went in and Dad burst into tears and hugged me. What happened, Dad? Are you okay?
Oh, sweetie, I think I'm gonna lose it all. All the hard work I put into this one project of my life. Jones is gonna take it away from me, along with your mom.
What? Mr. Jones was stealing Dad's work? And Mom was siding with him? How could she? But before I could ask her, Mom declared that night that she was gonna divorce Dad and take me along with her. And I just couldn't keep my cool. No, Mom, I'm not going anywhere with you. Dad was the one who raised me while you were never here. And now that he needs us, you want to leave? You're awful, and I hate you. I stormed back to my room while Mom tried to talk to me. I wasn't going to listen to her. A few days later, Mom moved out, and I never got to see her, Mr. Jones, or Andy after that. And it kind of broke my heart. But Dad was more miserable than me. He lost all his money, and we had to move to a much smaller house. After that, Dad spent most of his time in his room. So I tried to come up with ways to cheer him up. Look, Dad, I made you pancakes. Look, Dad, I invented this super cool machine. But nothing worked, and Dad's situation got worse day by day. Then a few days later, I saw Mr. Jones on TV, and he was being awarded as the Scientist of the Year for Dad's research. It angered me so much that I decided I was going to get Dad's revenge on him somehow. So I pulled up my socks and started studying harder. And luckily, I got into the same high school that was owned by Mr. Jones. On my very first day, I was on my way to the principal's office to submit some documents when some girl tripped me in the hallway, and I fell onto a guy ripping his t-shirt wide open, and the girl who tripped me started yelling at me. How dare you humiliate my friend in front of everyone? Get up and apologize to him now. What? You made me fall. If anything, you should be the one saying sorry. How dare you talk back to me like that? The guy suddenly stepped in.
That's enough, Rita. Let her go.
What? Why? He came forward and handed me all my documents and took that girl away with him. Later, I discovered that his name was Andrew and he was the football captain, and that mean witch was his friend Rita. And both of them were in the same class as me. Perfect. I went ahead and took a seat, but Andrew came and sat right next to me.
Hey there. I'm sorry about how my friend spoke to you earlier. She can be a bit intense.
Is that why she's shooting lasers at us right now?
Ignore her. Do you maybe want to hang out with us later?
I think I'll pass. I've got so much to catch up on. But for some reason, that guy wouldn't leave me alone. At the cafeteria, in the library, and even after school. Hi. What was his deal? Look, I don't know what you're up to, but I'd appreciate it if you...
I want to take you out on a date.
A what? Are you kidding me? You want to take this witch out on a date?
Rita, watch it.
Really? You want to side with this ugly duckling, Andrew? Fine, so be it. Gosh, this girl was crazy. But the kids at school were even crazier. The rumors of me dating the school's heartthrob were going viral. And as I entered the hallways, an egg came flying straight onto my face. Yikes! I rushed to the washroom to clean it, but Rita came suddenly from behind and pulled my hair. How can you even dream of dating Andrew when you know he's mine? I pushed her away, and before we knew it, we broke into an ugly catfight and ended up in bruises. I had to tell Andrew to get rid of those rumors now. So I went ahead to look for him on the playground. But then what I saw next shocked me. Mr. Jones was hugging Andrew after he won the football match, and that's when I realized Andrew was Andy, Mr. Jones's son, and my childhood friend. Holy freaks! For a moment, I felt so happy about Andrew, but then seeing Mr. Jones burned me on the inside. And Andrew's offer to date me was a perfect opportunity to get closer to Mr. Jones and ruin things for him just like he did for my dad. So I went ahead and pulled Andrew for a kiss in front of everyone.
Whoa, that was...
Awesome, I know. That's what you wanted, right? And that's what you get, boyfriend. After that day, Andrew and I started dating officially. We'd spend most of our time together and he'd make me laugh tons. It was a complete surprise to see him transform into this really cool and outgoing person, so different from how he was when we were kids. But of course, Rita fumed with anger seeing us together, and I couldn't help teasing her more. One time, I was working in the library after school when Andrew came and pulled me out of there. Hey, what are you doing?
Shh, it's a surprise.
We then rode to a hilltop outside the city, and everything looked so beautiful from up there. Just then, Andrew ran back to his car and brought a big cake lit with candles, and it made me teary-eyed seeing how much this guy cared for me.
Hey, are you okay?
Yeah, never better. I didn't even remember it was my birthday. It was then I realized I was really falling for him, but the thought of using him to get to his dad was kind of crushing my heart.
I have been wanting to tell you something, Hazel.
Before he could finish, my phone started ringing, and I was shocked to discover Dad was admitted to the hospital. Andrew asked his driver to immediately take us to the hospital, but I didn't want him discovering who I really was, so I asked him to stay back. Later, the doctors told me that Dad was quite ill and needed a lot of care to get well soon. I rushed to the nurse to inquire about the treatment and the expenses, but she told me everything was already taken care of. And it didn't take me long to figure out who'd do that. I left the hospital and saw Andrew waiting outside for me. Why'd you do that?
Why won't I? It's your dad, Hazel. And if you were in my place, you would have done the same.
No, I wouldn't. His dad was the reason my dad was so sick in the first place. And there was no way I was forgiving that man, even after what Andrew did for my dad. A few weeks later, Dad was much better and was sent back home. Andrew called me up later the same day and invited me for a party at his place. And that was perfect. Mr. Jones was apparently working on another big research project, and if I could get into their house and get my hands on it, it would be the perfect revenge. So I happily agreed. But when I got there, I was shocked to see Mom laughing and celebrating with Mr. Jones. I couldn't help hating her even more. After a while, when Andrew went away to get me a drink, I sneaked further into the house and found Mr. Jones's study. Bingo! I was going through some papers and documents there when suddenly the door flew open and I was shocked to see Mom standing there. Hazel, it's you, right? Oh, my daughter. What are you doing here? She ran to me and hugged me tight, but I pushed her away. Don't you touch me. You're not my mom. What are you saying? Then she looked at the mess I had created as I was going through all the papers, and the look on her face changed.
What are you doing here, Hazel?
I'm here to do the same thing that your lover, Mr. Jones, did to Dad. He stole Dad's research and took all the credit and money for it. With your help, Mom.
What? Who told you that?
That's a lie. Jones is my friend, not my lover, and he didn't steal anything. It was your dad who got greedy and tried to steal Jones's research and sell it. What? You're lying. No, I'm not. Clearly, your dad has been feeding you lies. This couldn't be true. I rushed out of that room, but Andrew was standing right outside the door, and judging by his face, I could tell that he heard everything. But I felt too ashamed to face him now, so I just stormed out of there, and Mom followed me all the way home, too. When we got there, I went straight to Dad and confronted him about everything.
Tell her. Tell your daughter the truth.
And suddenly, Dad just broke into tears.
Oh, Hazel, forgive me, my daughter.
I can't believe it, Dad. All those years, you lied to me about everything, about Mom. How could you?
'Cause I love you, honey. When I realized I was gonna lose everything, I didn't want to lose you too,
So you decided to lie and ruin my life? All this time, I hated 2 innocent people and made it my life's mission to get revenge on them for ruining our happiness. I even hurt someone I really care about, all because of your lies, Dad. I can never forgive you, ever. I ran to my room crying, but Mom came there and comforted me. I always knew you loved your dad more than me, sweetie, and I just couldn't force you to come with me when you weren't ready to listen. But I shouldn't have given up on our relationship so easy. I'm so sorry. Oh, Mom, I'm sorry for hating you too without giving you a chance. I moved out with Mom and we shifted to a different city. She got me enrolled into a really good school and I reconnected with her all over again. A few months later at Christmas, I was decorating the house with my mom when I heard a knock on the door. I was shocked to see Andrew standing right in front of my eyes. What? What are you doing here?
Your mom invited me.
I still couldn't bring myself to look at him, so I turned around. But Andrew took my hand.
Listen to me, Hazel. It wasn't your fault. Your mom told me everything.
How does it change anything, Andrew? I hid the truth from you and dated you to hurt your dad. So you're supposed to hate me.
I can't, because I love you. I've always loved you, Hazel, ever since we were kids. And you weren't the only one hiding things. That day at school, when you fell and you dropped your documents, I saw your personal information, and I knew in an instant it was you. That's why I couldn't keep away from you.
You knew? Then why didn't you say anything?
Because I didn't want to scare you away after what happened to our dads. I wanted you to realize I actually loved you, and I know you do too. So please, stop running away from it.
I looked into his eyes, and I couldn't help but see the love for me in them. I love you too, Andrew.